Hello, everybody, and welcome to our May Code Jam. This is our live stream tonight. My name is Tiffany Hall. I'm an alumni of TripleTen Software Engineering Program. I'm a full stack engineer and a product owner at Scholastic Inc., the world's largest publisher of children's books, and a powerhouse in the digital education space, too. Tonight, one of my other favorite things that I get to do is be the host of all of the code jams and competitions that we have here at TripleTen. So let's go ahead and talk about tonight's. Thank you so much for joining us today. This Code Jam is a lot of fun. I'm very excited. It's a very timely one, not just because it's my mother's birthday. Hi, Mom. Happy birthday. But also because summer is coming up. And so it is very exciting that you guys can all be here to help plan your summer. So now, if you're not sure what a Code Jam is, let's talk about it. Code jams are a friendly competition in where we have our TripleTen software engineer students from all over the US unite and team up in order to compete in a super, super short time frame, talking days, 4 or 5 days tops, all while they're doing their normal coursework. And while they're doing their normal coursework, these teams get together and they jam out a bunch of code jam out the code. Yeah, they jam out the code to meet the prompt.
Hey
The
James,
prompt, the prizes this year,
hey James.
sorry, for this month, Theo, really excited to have James there. Then the prizes for this time around are going to be not just a friend named James, but also going to be merchandise and other fun things from TripleTen. I like to try to make sure Sharkbait, my cat, can always throw in a nice piece of cheese there as well, for the mice and for his meds. So, other things that are a fun thing is that we also like the audience participation to be able to vote for an audience favorite. So if you are watching this live, there's a box below me for a live chat. You are more than encouraged to please go ahead and write down the name of your favorite team. And then if you're watching this on repeat, you can put it down in the comments. That's only if you're not a student of ours. Just yet. If you're not a student of ours and you put it on the YouTube, if you are a student, then you will look in our Discord after this live stream and we will have the poll there for you to vote for your favorite team. The audience participation, sorry, not audience participation, the audience favorite will get an extra special prize, and that one will probably be not for my cat, because that would be probably be something else completely amazing. All right, so let's go ahead and get started talking about what our Code Jam is going to be tonight. Tonight we have two parts. The teams were divided last week into groups of 4 and challenged to create a website or an application that encourages people to be more active and make sport and physical activity a fun and regular part of their daily lives. I don't know about anyone else who's watching, but me personally, I've got 2 teenage boys and I am all about this Code Jam tonight because I am going to be putting these things into action. So summer is coming. I'm damned if those kids just sit around. All right, our teams had less than a week to make their projects, and they are going to show their projects tonight. They are going to go ahead and present, and next week our judges will evaluate the code as well as the presentation. All the results will be posted on Discord by May 28th, and I think that's all I have to cover. Great, let's get to the fun part now. We're going to start with our teams. The first team we have 4 tonight. First team is Control Alt Elite. And that team is Allison De La Paz, Sky Mandy, Steve Bolin, and Cam Williams.
Well, hello. My name is Cam. Nice to meet you guys. I'm gonna let Allison get us started, but we're excited to share our project with you.
Yeah, and hello, I'm Allison. Also, happy birthday to Tiffany's mom, Tina. Yeah. um, and um, maybe I just don't see. Kim, are you sharing your screen?
Oh yeah, sorry. I got you. There we
So
go.
we have created an app called Stretch Now. And so we'll go ahead and get it pulled up here. And while we do that, I'll just go over kind of what our app is about. And so it encourages healthier habits by reminding you to take stretch breaks. Many of us, we're in this program, we're coding, we're doing our coursework. We probably also work on a computer most of the time. We're always scrolling on our phones. So it's really important to get reminders to pause, take a moment, get in some movement, getting some stretching in getting in some movement in a short time that we have time for. So one of the first things about our app or website is you can have it on your phone or computer is this login functionality. So right now we have an array of usernames and passwords. So Cam's putting in one of those that we have set up in our code. And then you can log in to your account within the Stretch Today website. And so we have a Let's Stretch feature where we have either a timer that you can set at 10 minutes, 30 minutes, and 45 minutes, or you can just choose to stretch right there in the moment with the Stretch Now button. We have my stretch notes. So look what you've accomplished. Keep up the great work. So we have some notes that you'll kind of see how that fits into the app. Cam will touch on that a little bit later. And just to kind of what we have written about the app, Stretch Today sends you helpful reminders to take stretching breaks, promoting healthier habits during long hours on your computer or phone. It will also keep track of your progress with the notes feature. Plus, you can invite your friends to keep your streak of stretching daily. So if we go to the top here, where we have Jacob's photo, in the top right, you can see a little kind of leaderboard with our other users that we have set in the array in our JavaScript, and you can kind of see where you compare with your friends. So Jacob needs to get in some stretching. And right now we have our timer set to seconds just for the sake of the demonstration. So we'll go ahead and do our 10-minute, 10-second timer. You can see it in the bottom right corner. The timer will go off. So you won't miss it with that alarm sound.
You can't ignore it.
Yes, that's the goal. You can't ignore it. We want you to get
Right.
it in stretch.
There you go.
And so then you'll go ahead and you'll press stretch now, and then I'll let Cam take it away for some of these features.
Yeah, thanks, Allison. And sorry for the confusion getting the share screen going, but here we are. We have our modal that Stephen and our team created. He couldn't be here tonight, but he did a great job. If you notice, every time I open the Stretch Now modal, a different stretch is shown in the modal. And so kind of what I did is created this array of stretches, which we could obviously add to and maybe put some better photos in. But the code here, this get stretch function, is randomly selecting a stretch from this array. And so every time it comes up, it's got a new stretch. So you have some variety in what you're taking care of. There's a short description. And then another cool thing is each time you do it, you can give some feedback. So say you did this and you loved it. This will now add this little note card to your own stretch notes, which is tied to each user. Then say you set another timer, you come back and do another one. Now you're working on your calves and you didn't like it because you pulled your calf. That kind of sucks. But at least now you know the next time you come back to this and you get a calf again, you're like, oh, maybe I should wait. Anyway, so this is our stretch. Stretch now button. And then to quickly show you for the notes, we just have a simple div right here in the HTML that adds the information from the array that were being used into this little note grid. And again, that's linked to each person's account. And every time you select Stretch Now and save it, even if it didn't go well, it'll still give you a point because you showed up trying to get moving. And I'll give it back to, well, I think that's actually about it. Allison, anything you want to add?
Yeah, so if we open the Stretch Now one more time and
Mhm.
then just press, we didn't give any feedback, we didn't do thumbs up, thumbs down, or write any notes, and you press save, um, Sky set up, oh, now I don't see it on the screen, but I did just see it when we practiced our presentation like 15 minutes ago. Um, but
Interesting.
it
Okay.
should, it should be prompting you to, a little thing was popping up that says, are you sure you don't want to comment how your stretch went?
Yeah.
So not sure what happened there, but that's okay.
All right.
Um,
But
and then we can
yeah,
hop in to look a little bit at the code. So we'll get um, our code pulled up here so we can kind of show some features. We
is it
did
not showing?
no.
Um, I'm sorry. Is that better?
I just see the Discord.
No.
And that happens to me sometimes when I share
What
my
in the
screen with
world?
tutors. The way to fix it would be to stop share and then set share to the entire screen. Oh, never mind. You got it. Sorry.
Is that better? Okay.
Yes,
Sorry, guys.
perfect. Um, and I'll just jump in and talk a little bit about our streak function, which if you saw, there was a streak function at the top of the page. Um, it should just be counting it only once a day, but it seems like it was counting it every time we stretched. And you know, there's bound to be some some tweaks to be made when we have a couple of days, so that's okay. But we're just using vanilla JavaScript and HTML and CSS, so we don't have any servers or APIs or anything set up. So we used local storage to be able to track your streak within the account. And so we've got that set up here in our streak.js. And ideally, if we look at line 14, this function initialize streak, it should count if it notices that the last time you stretched was today, it should keep you at your current streak. If it notices that it was yesterday, it'll add one to your streak. And if it notices anything else, it'll bump you back down to one. So that will be, you know, starting fresh with a new streak. And then I'll hand it over to you, Cam, to talk about our timer and the array, the randomizing arrays.
Yeah. So let's see. I get maybe it didn't show last time. Apologies, guys. But this is our get stretch function that kind of pulls from this array that I made at top. We can add a bunch to this, but it'll just kind of pull this information and then bring it into, let's see if I do that. Did that work? I think so. Yeah, so it kind of populates this modal each time you select stretch. Yeah. And I think that's it.
Yeah.
All right, very cool. Quick question. When you hit stretch now, does it populate randomly or does it? Oh, so it does. It gives you a different one every time.
Sorry, yes, I was trying to explain that it does a different one each time you open it.
I love that. Very cool.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay, so let's talk about the code for just a second. So, one of the things that is really cool that you guys were able to do is to hold things in local storage. But I don't want people at home thinking that it's like a broom closet somewhere that you are holding this. So, could you maybe explain for the people watching what local storage is in kind of a, in that tell me like I'm five kind of.
Sure, I will try my best because I actually didn't know what local storage was until this project. So that's a great thing about this code jam. I feel like I learned about other things I didn't know about. And so we didn't have a space to kind of hold this information. So um, whenever we would come back to the page, it would just reload. It would start your streak back at 0 because it doesn't know that you were on it yesterday. So it's kind of a space within your code within this website that holds onto that information. So when you log back in with your username, it has that information and it can go grab it and say, oh yeah, you logged in 3 days in a row. So I know to put a 3 up here on this streak.
Very cool. Thank you. That is wonderful. Great job. So now let's talk a little bit. You brought up a really great point around, one of the benefits of joining the Code Jam was that piece around trying things that you haven't tried before. So one of the things is like, how was it working with a team of people that you have not met before?
Yeah, I could go first. It was actually really beneficial for me. I think one of the biggest deficiencies I had was working in Git and GitHub with other people. So I've done it for myself, and it's like, okay, I know how to do this. But
A whole
we had
different thing
so
when someone
many
else is swinging on your branches.
we had so many divergent branches. It's hilarious. That was like we spent more time figuring out how to do that correctly than actually implementing. But it was really helpful because now I have a better understanding of how to do that. But yeah, this was a great experience for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, the Git part of it and the branching is definitely one of my favorite parts for all of these code jams. Like I work on a team right now where there are 10 developers all working in the same repo. And so
Wow.
like just thinking about that, right? You guys had a team of 4. Can you imagine, more than doubling that and being like, yeah, we're all in there at the same time. It's cool.
Yeah, for sure. That would
It's going to
definitely
be a
be,
great
yeah,
free.
yeah.
So then in terms of the process that you guys had around like getting together and getting an idea, did you guys form your idea early or did you take a couple of days? Like what was your kind of process for developing those ideas?
I feel like we were using like the ideas that were provided, kind of like the suggestions of what were provided at the
Great job.
start
Yeah.
of the code jam to kind of like just build off of that. Um, and I don't know, maybe a couple other teams did take the time to, figure it out, but I feel like with it being so short, you kind of have to decide, the next day.
It's a
Yeah.
great strategy, right? There's strategy in all things. Fantastic. All right. Well, thank you guys very much for one, showing us a really great start. I think the stretching personally, as someone who sits at a desk all day, is a lovely app to have built. And so I really appreciate that. And I very much appreciate when you show us all the code and all of the different things and how you got all of those arrays to populate the cards. That is also something that makes my nerdy little heart very excited about. All right, that is our first team of the night. That is Control Alt Elite, and that is Allison Del Paz, Sky Mandik, Steve Bullen, and Cam Williams. Thank you very much. All right, second team of the evening, we have GeoFit. GeoFit is JJ Plamutil, Kiera Bartlett, and Theo Shellman. All right, Kiera, you ready to take it away?
Yes. So our team name is the same, of course, as our project. We couldn't
Great.
come up with a name. Yes.
There is strategy in all things.
So unfortunately, our other teammate, he's a little occupied right now, so he couldn't be here. So me and JJ are going to be presenting. So I'm going to show the desktop
I'm here.
version first. Oh, you are?
Yeah, I'm
Why
here.
is your name THRO?
I have no idea.
Sorry. Oh, good. So THRO, you can take the reins. And then
Okay.
I had a
Um,
feeling
no,
that
I'm
was
just
you, Theo. I mean, but the name was like, what?
now
Throw?
his name's Throw, so we're gonna
Yeah.
call him Throw. Um, so but I will let Theo speak and JJ speak. I just wanted to show the deployed version first, and then they can speak
Okay.
about the mindset that we were going for and everything for the app. But let me go ahead and share, or you guys can jump in when you want, I guess.
okay, I'll start.
But
So
okay,
GeoFit is basically a community-driven project where that promotes getting out and exploring, opposed to sitting at a desk, which most of us do every day. It is it's built with software developers in mind, and is also built mobile first. Unlike a desktop, unlike the desktop version, we do have a desktop version, but we're promoting the mobile version first. Because, like we said, we want you out and exploring, opposed to sitting at a desk or sitting at a laptop. So basically, GeoFit is I don't know if anybody know what geocache is. It's basically an item that someone hides in a weird place. You would record it on the app or the website for others to go find. And because software developers are definitely all over the world, all over US, it's definitely a unique group of people to pull from. So basically, we started off with the top about the app. Um, we have this is really a proof of concept. The 4 days really was a push to get something in. So this is really just a proof of concept that we really want to build upon. So if you want to scroll to the top here.
yes.
Okay, so I'll start with my biggest contribution. It's within the code. I wanted to do the JavaScript to it. I just didn't get around to doing it. So if we go to can we pull give me 1 second.
It has the
Yeah, if we
JavaScript
yeah,
showing
if we
on the
scroll down,
right. I can pull it out.
to form. Scroll down the form. Or we need to
Okay.
go to the CSS in the form so we can
Okay.
toggle off visibility hidden. Basically, I wanted to show the form that I had in mind.
Let me
Uh,
toggle off the visibility. Hold on a second.
no. If you highlight form within the elements.
I'm still newer than them. Let me see. Form. Do you want me to just send you the?
No, it's one line underneath what you already have highlighted.
Oh.
There we go. Now, if you go to pop up with form.
And then go to pop-up form.
In your smallest window, all the way to the right.
Video.
There we go. Scroll down, pop up, visibility
There it
hidden.
is.
There we go.
Nice.
Okay, so the CSS was supposed to, when you add form, this is just our standard add form that will pop up, and you're able to add an image and also city and state. The plan was for it to populate, so anybody anywhere can basically add to the collection, and anybody anywhere can basically view the information and go look for it. So it's promoting getting out and go looking. So that's pretty much it on my end.
So yes, Theo was awesome. He did all the writing as well. with the about section, the rules, and he did the JavaScript. So it was
But
very
I started the JavaScript.
instrumental.
I didn't get to finish it. It was a tight, it was a close and tight run.
That JavaScript looks awesome, man. Okay, hold on. Uh-oh, I lost it. How do I toggle it back off? Uh, Okay, so first let me show the desktop version. This is the desktop version, but we didn't really do much to it because it's not meant to be for a desktop. It's supposed to be an application, a mobile app. But I did all the margins and the spacing, as well as I did the design for it. I was thinking a simplistic design would be good. I want to mess with this, but I got to.
Just to wrap it all up, I did create the about section. So it's verified in the application that it is a deal for the app. And you can make this definitely your own. So as a customer, somebody who has, this app, they can make it their own unique flair to it by, putting in their own command line or follow, their prompts. Because this is definitely a static HTML application. We didn't have enough time for JavaScript per se. So it's definitely user friendly. You can definitely input your forms straight into the application. Yeah.
And you guys already saw the rules and everything, but I also implemented the design with the CSS as well as HTML. I did the stacking. So with the stacking, where you see the design in the background of GeoFit, the title, that was complicated for me because I didn't remember the Z index until Theo pointed it out for the CSS. But what I did to figure that part out is that I found out if it's in the same div container in HTML, that you could stack it that way as well. So I put my base photo first, and the second photo was going to be the second photo on top, and the title I put third so it can show first. And so that's what we did. And it was just a simplistic design to lure people in because most websites that have this elusive luxury design usually lures people in. And so we wanted to do that with the fitness app as well. But it was a real struggle to do the margins. But yes, with all that information and data. But it's a really cool app, especially to get software engineers, not only adults out and about to geocache, but there's coding clubs at schools for kids. So that too, they can go out and get some exercise with parent permission. And then that's it.
All right, I love it. TBH, they don't need parent permission. They could just go as long as they're just quiet while I'm trying to work. No, this is great. So you guys were showing us the mobile first, and I think you did a great job explaining the reasoning for it, especially because the idea is to get you up and moving, right? Really cool. But the thing I wanted to draw everyone's attention to is you were showing us all this stuff on the side. And so instead of it being in like a code editor, you were showing us all the kind of things off to the side. And I wondered if one of you guys might take a moment to explain to people who maybe haven't seen those hidden features within their browser, what those are and what you use them for.
So I'm still trying to figure my way out around the JavaScript. So I'm not really good with the JavaScript. So maybe Theo will be able to explain unless he just hopped right off. I don't know.
No, I'm thinking more the Windows itself. Like you were looking at code of the actual app, but you were in the browser. And how were you doing
Oh,
that?
yes. So I did the inspect and I was showing the code that way. Although I don't know how to work the JavaScript side of things, I used that to just display the mobile app. And I kept going
Okay.
to mobile because that's the application shows best on a mobile app. However, I can only scroll down if I selected desktop and did the mobile version, but then everything gets thrown off because it's not a mobile app.
Got it. So these developer
But
tools that you're using are able to help you see it in different sizes.
yeah, yes. And then
Very cool.
also it helps to be able to change, like Theo had me undo the form. It helps to be able to change things right from the inspect window. It's not going to actually change the code itself,
Okay.
but it gives you a visual of how something might look. So that was super helpful to use. I use inspect a lot for CSS and HTML. So that was
Yeah.
really helpful to use. I didn't know we were supposed to present the code. I thought we were just presenting the deployed version, but
No, you
if
did a great
you want
job.
to see the code, you
No,
can.
no, I think it's great. I just always like the code because it's the nerdy little goodness in me. And I think it's really interesting for other people to see. People like my mom who are watching are still to this day don't have any idea what I do. And so whenever they get to see the code, then they're like,
Oh,
oh,
yes.
okay. No,
Yeah,
I think it's great.
if it was a desktop version, I think it would have been a little easier to not show that part, but since we don't have it actually as an application on our phones, we can't.
No, I think it's
That's the only way
great.
we could
And it
show the
gives us
mobile
an
app.
opportunity to show one of the other tools you're learning. So I think that's wonderful. How
Yes.
was, in terms of developing mobile first, maybe different than some of the other projects you're used to? And this is for all of you, not just for Kira, but all of you on the team. How was that mindset different than the projects you're doing in TripleTen? Because those are not mobile first, those are desktop first.
Yes. So it was a completely new concept for me. Theo came up with the idea, and JJ agreed as well. I wanted to do some desktop version, but I thought it was really cool because you don't see that a lot. You mostly see like only desktop applications.
Yeah.
So the fact
JJ,
to
what
think
made you
of,
want to push over to mobile
yeah.
first?
So I did want to do like a more mobile and desktop, but with mobile it's more convenient for, people on the go and people on, if you go to the gym, you're not gonna lug around a laptop with you. So having a smartphone in your hand is way more convenient for users. And when you go out running, just have that, on your arm, and you can like log in your geocache, and you can, check, you can input your workout routine on the website itself.
Love that.
On the
Thinking of the end user at the beginning.
Exactly.
Really great. No, I think really fantastic. Um, and it seems like, Kiara, you said you're early on in the sprints. What sprint are you on?
I'm a youngling. I'm only on Sprint 4, but I'm
That's
almost
when
to
I
Sprint
started
5.
doing co-jams too.
It's just someone told me in a meeting, like they were like, "Oh, after you pass this sprint, you can start code jams." But hopefully, code
Yeah.
jam 2, I'll be more effective with JavaScript.
And JJ, what sprint are you on?
About to go to 12.
Fantastic. So how was it kind of working with uh, a youngling in the program?
Well, I mean, she's not a youngling. She knows exactly what she's doing. But a lot of it, like, I guess with GitHub, it's, knowing the nuances on how to merge, how to,
Yes.
deploy a project into multiple forks. It definitely that's a learning opportunity. And that's, tutors were there to help too. But just to know, to do that beforehand before actually doing, because that'll actually, merge each of our forks together, and that was a really big hassle. So it's like, it's very good just to differentiate each one. And then
Yeah.
then once it's done, and you guys, then we can like get pushed into the GitHub easily. So I
Yeah,
mean,
I think
does
that's a
that.
really
Then
great point.
also, and since Sprint 4 is like, earlier on, there's no like React, at least not that part of the curriculum. So it was, you know, knowing how to like, teach a concept that they haven't really dealt with was hard. So I just, the best way is just to go baby steps. So, what you have accomplished so far in four, and try to use that knowledge and make a really good project out of it. And then, if we have more time, then, encourage more, lessons, and try to get the wheel moving on how to, move into, the DOM and to, JavaScript React code lines. So,
Yes,
like
building off of what you know is a really great
Exactly.
place to start.
right, right. And
Yes,
HTML is
it's
the perfect venue to start at. HTML and CSS.
it really
Yes,
is.
we had a lot of code, a lot of imports.
Yeah.
That's okay. I mean, that's the things, Kiara, and in a couple of code jams, you'll be like, this is boring and old to me, and I will be moving on to bigger and better things. And
I'm
JJ, you
learning
mentioned,
though.
oh yeah, it'll go fast. You guys mentioned the tutor, and I wanted to shout out Devin, my coding ride or die from way back when, since he joined. Hello, Devin. All right, thank you guys so very much. That is GeoFit. I am very excited to try that one because I think it's a really great idea. I live in Colorado, lots of opportunities for
Oh,
geocaching
nice.
here, so I'm putting that one on the list for the teens.
Before
All right.
before we stop, I just wanted to throw in really quick. I actually
Yeah.
like this learning opportunity with my first code jam as well because it gives me a sense of feel of how to coordinate with people and how communication is important and to work with others in a real team environment and a professional environment.
Aw, I'll slip you the 20 afterwards. Kidding, just kidding. I'm not actually paying her. No, I do understand. It's one of my favorite parts too. And I'm excited to see how you are going to be in our next code jam. Okay. So that is GeoFit. That is JJ Plamutiel and Kiera Bartlett and Theo Shellman. Okay, our next one is the Code Warriors, and we're going to switch up the way we do things a little bit here. We are going to present a recorded presentation, and then we are going to chat with the team after that. Okay, so the core Warriors is Tess Burrow, Josh Gomez, Hassan Jamat, and Gabriela Barwick. All right, now's the time when we relive my pandemic teaching skills. Here we go. Okay.
Hi everyone, I'm Gabriela and my team is called the Code Warriors. We are super excited to show you the results of our website. So, the name is called SpinFit, and as soon as you open this website, you can't lose here. Since our target market is teenagers and we wanted to encourage them to exercise more during their summer break, we made sure the site felt fun and dynamic. So, this explains why we have a lot of emojis through the whole website and hovers. To try keeping things engaging and preventing experience to feel static or boring. So, we also added different workout levels and body parts to focus on, like you can see them here. That way, users always feel like they're doing something new and making progress. And another cool feature is our spin wheel. Every time you spin it, you get a totally random and fun exercise. So let's check it out. There you go. We also included a section with helpful tips. These are meant to guide user experience a little bit more responsible and help them build consistency in their fitness journey. And finally, we have our footer, where we've added links to our personal repositories. You can check them out and learn more about us and the other projects we've worked on. So, why did we choose the spin wheel idea? Basically because, first, because we actually uh, won a challenge. So this was a fun challenge to make the wheel actually spin, and we will talk about that later. And the second part is because we wanted to bring the surprise factor to create something different and random, and like to keep people engaging and like try it on every single day. So every spin is a win.
Hello. In this video, I'm going to briefly talk about what actually happens when we click this button right here, the click to spin button. What we have is basically a form, and that click to spin button is the submit button for that form. So we added an event listener to that submit button, which prevents the default behavior of refreshing the page. And then here we define exercise and experience as the radio buttons that are currently checked off. And since they're radio buttons, there will only be one experience and one exercise variable selected. We pass this information into our spin function, which itself does a quick check to make sure that experience level and exercise type have been properly selected, and it alerts the user if they have not done so. If they have, then we can animate the wheel. We get a random exercise, and we update the display with that new random exercise. As its name implies, get random exercise basically takes the experience level and exercise type, and then goes through our object literal of exercises, of options for exercises, and returns one at random. So here is that object literal. What we have here are all of our workout plans. One is selected at random from this list based on the options that the user has chosen. So in order for this to work, we have to import workout plans in our script.js file. And in order for workout plans to actually be imported correctly, for that import statement to actually work, we have to tell the browser that this particular script.js is an xmust-script module, and we do that by setting the parameter of type to module. So obviously when the submit button is clicked and the user has selected an experience level and an exercise type, the wheel animates. But I would also like to talk about this modal open function here. So the way that we actually handle display of the exercise modal is with a class called modal open. So we add this class to that modal, which makes it visible. And then we do the inverse when we want to remove it. When we want to close the modal, we remove modal open, which makes the exercise modal invisible again. Finally, let me briefly talk about this key down listener. What this basically does is that it listens for whether or not the user has hit the escape key, so that they can close the modal by doing so. So if the user has selected a workout and is done with the workout and doesn't want to exit with the close button, they can hit the escape key, and that will obviously run modal close as well.
With the Code Warriors, and we went with our website SpinFit to help people get out and exercising while doing something fun. And so for this, I started working on the Figma by creating the spinner and some of the other elements as well. Gabriella was also a huge help in making design changes and just like the overall look and flow. So we worked on that. And then for the actual spinner itself, this is the function animate wheel, and you can see that there's the math for randomizing it, for how many times it's going to rotate, and also when it's going to stop. And I did use dot for this. I outlined down here at the bottom these are my notes on how I knew it needed to function, but I did need some assistance on getting that brought to life, as I remembered doing some transforming stuff in CSS, but I was a little unsure how to make that come to life in JavaScript. And then back to our Figma here, I also worked on the responsive design, and so we have our 1440 view, the desktop version, and then also when it gets down to 1100, as some of the elements are a little bit big, made a couple changes. Really, these are the only two that change. And then also we have a mobile version as well. And so just outlining all of that in the Figma, and then I can also show you on the screen. So here's the 1440, and then as you can see, everything is here. And then as we go down to our under 1100, things start to change a little bit. And then even as we get down to our mobile view, so once again, just making sure that all users can see all of the information on the screen and be able to select everything they need to. As a whole, I feel like our team did a really good job of working together and outlining everything. We're constantly messaging each other and also letting each other know who was doing what. Josh did a lot on the JavaScript, and Gabriella, like I said, did a lot with the design and also the HTML and CSS. And I know Hassan was just filling in all those spots that the rest of us maybe weren't quite hitting. And so overall, really great experience with a great team, and thankful we got to work together.
Hello everyone, this is Hassan with the Code Warriors. You made it to the end of the presentation. So I want to thank everyone for watching and give a quick shout out to my teammates, Gabriella, Joshua, and Tess, for a great job. And before I forget, special happy birthday to Miss Tina. Hope you had a great one. Hope to counter your vote. This has been the Code Warriors signing off. Peace.
I love the congratulations on getting to the end of the presentation.
That was awesome.
It was great. Okay, really great presentation. I know the chat in YouTube is really going on about the Figma design looking really great, and the spinner just kind of as a whole, that kind of concept idea. And so let's, I think you guys did a great job showing the different code kind of walkthrough pieces, but let's talk through maybe some of the things that were challenging in this for your team and what kind of struggles you had to work through. Seems like you guys did a great job working through them. So I want to like crack open the magic there.
Yeah, so I think that one of the challenge that we had, I mean, I believe for most of us was our first code jam, and by we, I say me, I almost did a big mistake because we didn't create branches and we didn't like talk about it. We almost created like a huge disaster in the middle of everything, and I like literally my teammate, he was like, oh, I just put it in GitHub, and I was literally working on the same part, and I was like, oh my goodness, like thanks God you just wrote there, like let's create branches, let's create all of this. And we that was like right in the beginning, and we handled it pretty good. And you know, it was
Did you guys start creating branches after that?
Yeah. That for my part, I don't know if Joshua or Tess want to add something about, the wheel and
Yeah. Joshua, you're joining us from outer space, so you have to unmute.
There we go. Hey, so yeah, my biggest challenge was basically getting the escape button to work. I was trying for a solid 20-30 minutes trying to get it to just, listen in when I hit the escape key, and it just wasn't working for me. So I actually went back to one of my previous sprint projects, and I grabbed the code that was in there and I modified it for my project and made it work. So if I hadn't had that extra
Everybody
code, I wouldn't have
watching
been able to
is
do
listening.
it. Yeah.
That is a genius idea. You guys do all of these projects. Why not use some of those snippets to kind of help move things along, right?
Exactly.
And expand them even more. Really great tip. I hope everyone is watching. I'll make sure to point that out in our next jam. All right, so we've got a couple of things that were really challenging, but what are some things that you guys felt like were great places? Like this is the V1, right? What's the great place to kind of expand this idea?
Yeah, we definitely had a couple ideas that we wanted to implement. We just didn't have enough time to do it. The main thing that we came up with were streaks and badges, similar to the stretch project. We wanted to implement auth so that everybody could register and sign in, and then they could track how many days in a row they've been working out and using the app for, and then get different badges if they complete certain workouts, or if they complete a certain exercise type a certain amount of times, you get some kind of badge, like sort of gamifying the app. We talk a lot about in software dev about gamifying things to make it more engaging for our users. So yeah, I'm sure that in the future we'll probably expand the app with some of those ideas.
Yeah, I think it's a really great place to go with this, especially because who doesn't love getting a virtual badge, right? It really sounds silly, but it makes a difference.
It
It
does.
sounds to me like you guys should pair up with the other team, and you guys could work on your auth and local storage together.
Sounds like a plan.
Good.
Like blend those things. Yes. Okay. Thank you guys very much for your time and your very, very cool presentation, especially with a Figma. I think the Figma part is not something we get to see very often, right?
Yeah.
On the front end. And so it's really great for, I think, people who are not used to seeing how do you put those ideas on paper to then translate them to a website? I think it's really great you guys were able to show that off too.
Yeah, Figma was a godsend, and I want to say that Gabriela and Tess did an insanely awesome job styling it. I started working on some of the HTML, and I came up with a sort of quasi-working footer, but I'm going to be honest, it looked like it was built in the 90s, and Gabriela and Tess just jumped in and really styled everything and made everything look really nice. So I really appreciate that.
If you get into that situation again, Josh, just label it as vintage.
That's right. Yes,
Yeah.
it's meant to look like a website from the 90s. That's the appeal.
That's right. That's the appeal.
Yeah.
All right. That is the Code Warriors. And that team is Tess Burrow, Josh Gomez, Hassan Jamat, and Gabriella Barwick. Thank you very, very much. Our last team for the evening is going to be Codify. And that is Juan Alcantara, Mona Albijarim, and Michaela Danielle, and Halil Abar.
Can you hear me? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Awesome. We only have myself and Michaela today. The other team members were out of mission. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen for a PowerPoint presentation, okay? See if I can get this thing going. Can you guys see that? Yeah, okay. Welcome to Well Life, the wellness dashboard that turns your healthy habits into an adventure. Let's go. Let's be honest, most fitness apps are like New Year's resolutions, exciting at first, but after a few weeks, poof, motivation vanishes. Did you guys know that 85% of fitness apps drop off after 3 months? And the industry is not struggling to get people started, it's failing to keep them engaged. Our solution, the Well Life app, what it is, it's a different way of looking into this. We are not just tracking steps and calories, we are gamifying the fitness and making healthy habits stick for good. Spin the workout wheel when you feel stuck and let fate pick your next activity. Track your habits with a dashboard that grows with you and celebrate every small win every day. Meet the app. And we'll show you guys a live presentation here shortly. This is a personal dashboard. Your progress, your way. Calories, habits, and the mood all in one place. Spin the wheel, and when you're feeling overwhelmed, and give it a spin. Michaela, do you want to show your screen so you can show that part of the app? You will get strength, balance, endurance, and flexibility It's fitness with a twist. Can you guys see her screen? I can't.
Can you see it?
Okay, it's clicked over now. We're good.
All right.
You're good?
Yes.
Okay, good. Why users love it? It's fun. Seriously, who knew fitness would be like a game show? It's personal. Your dashboard grows with your own habits. And it's social. Challenge friends, share wins, and never sweat alone. Well, what happened to my thing?
So
Sorry, guys.
it looks
Technical
like
difficulties here. You see it?
let me
Okay.
All right. I think we're back.
You're back. All right. The tech behind the magic. So I'm on sprint, finishing up sprint 15, and I decided to take all the projects I built up and create this beautiful application with React front end, Express, Mongo, and Node.js on the back end. And we're working on cloud deployment, which is coming soon. And we'll go through the code in a little bit, but we'll finish this presentation here soon here. So we're not just another fitness app. We're building a movement, one habit, one spin, and one win at a time. So join us and make wellness fun, social, and sustainable for everyone. Ready to spin and sweat? Let us show you the app. Michaela, do you want to show the app right now?
Yeah. So first you go ahead and you press sign up. You add your email, your password, your name, your avatar URL. Oop, hold on. Technical difficulties here. It is not letting me for some reason. Hold on. Maybe.
We need a quality engineer in here.
Hold on.
We're watching the real-time bug hunting.
The real-time bug hunting. All right, so let's try this. It's not working on my end for the sign up. Maybe Juan, do you have it up? Maybe you could do it.
All right, hold on 1 second. Let's see here. All right, can you guys see that? Yeah, okay. So this is the app. We have let's put this down a little bit. I can see it better. Okay. So we have a login right here. We have a login pop-up screen. If you're already registered, you can just log in with your password and email. You can sign up. Okay. Put your information there. All of this information is dynamic. So once you log in, it'll personalize, it'll save it's all your information on the back end. And we'll show you the code in a minute here. But let me show you. Log in with my super secure password. All of these fields, email, password, they're all validated in the end. It won't let you put in nonsense. So there's a certain criteria for that to happen. Once you log in, you got your avatar. Your avatar here, it all pops in dynamically. You can change your profile data. Okay. You can log out. Here's your habit tracker. You can add any habit if you want. Morning run, workout, meditate, whatever you want to do. It'll populate it there. Once you log back into the home page, it gives you your calorie count based on your trackers and the spin wheel. And it'll pop up with this video. Yeah.
Oh, a video. Look at that.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just realized I wasn't
pop-up.
on mute, but also like, oh, a video. Sorry.
All right. So let me go back to my presentation here. Where are we here? Here it is. So meet the unsung hero, the back end. So you've seen the glitz and glam of the front end, but now every superhero has a sidekick. Let me show you the back end code. Okay, where are we? All right. All right, this is a lot, guys. This is a lot. So this is the backend server. This is where the Express, Node.js, and MongoDB live. As you can tell right now, the server is running. So it's listening on port 3001 connected to the database. The entry point for the server is app.js. And here we import all of our libraries and packages. We have our cores, which handles our security side of the site, which handles the authentication and authorization for users. Also doesn't allow you to do what's called cross-site scripting, which is a security feature. Here's the port that it listens to. So here's the app. The app is created with this constant app.express, okay? And here's use. So you're telling the app, use all of these things, okay? So you're using cores, you're using the express, you're using, here's the post, here's the APIs. The post, when you log in, you create a user with your sign up. These are all of the URLs, the endpoints for the APIs. So when the user logs in or when the user interacts, it will literally route all of this, and I can show you that as well. Mongoose is a service that connects the Express. It's a middleware, so it connects the Express server with the MongoDB. Okay, so here's MongoDB, and it's running on this port with that database. Okay, that's where you get connected DB once it's success. Okay, we have our controllers. Our controllers for our habit items. And basically, this is basically literally the APIs. Here's a create item. Okay, you get the request, the response, and the next function. Pretty straightforward. Try if the item is part of the user. Keep going. If not, error out. These are custom error classes that are all built into my build here. It took a lot of time. It took a lot of time to build this, but I was able to help the team out by putting this on the back end and also with the React. And let me show you some of the React code for that. Let's see here. All right, here we go. So a lot of my teammates were in lower sprints. And one thing that they were kind of hesitant about is getting involved with learning or getting involved with, working with React and just doing what they only knew best, and that was their HTML and CSS. But I said, don't worry about the React because, I can help you with that piece of it. If you notice here, every single component in the website has its own folder, and every single component has its own HTML and its own CSS style. Okay. And this is anybody can read this, right? Return, you have your HTML in every single component that matches your CSS form. And Michaela can talk about, the spin wheel, which she focused more on that end, but it's pretty much, Michaela, do you want to tell us, your experience with working with React and in your sprint right now?
Oh yeah. Sorry if I might cut off a little bit. My internet's being a little funky right now, but I just want to start off by saying Juan did such an amazing job when it came to bringing our ideas to life. He definitely incorporated everything the best that he could, and I just appreciate that so much. So behind the spin wheel, I definitely took it upon myself I wanted to make the dashboard a little bit more interactive and a little bit more fun. Since we only had so much time to do it, I wanted at least some type of animation. So the spin wheel was going to be a new concept for me. I never implemented it before. I'm now just touching Sprint 7, so I'm barely touching the surface of JavaScript. And I did my small little line of code, which if you don't mind actually going to the spinwheel.css for me, Juan. No, actually, we're just there at the JS, so sorry. And then you can go up to the function for the spin wheel spin. Yeah, so that function, I think it's further up, sorry.
Oh, yeah, here it is.
Yeah. Okay, so the handle spin with the math floor and the math random, that allows the spin wheel to be randomized every time you spin it. Because obviously I'm just now learning JavaScript, just touching the surface there. Juan went and kind of cleaned it up for me, but I was so proud that I was even able to get the initial spin to work. So, he really helped us out when it came to getting the functionality of the dashboard. And on top of it, most people, like you said, always get off track. They feel overwhelmed. Their habits start stacking. And so when you don't know where to really begin or where to start, I like to see it as like cleaning a hoarder's house, right? Like, where do I even start? What place do I begin? Just spin the wheel and it solves all of that uncertainty for you. So we have 4 different workout criterias, and that would be balance, endurance, strength, and flexibility. And based off that, that's what video should pop up. And then in the CSS, I used of type to be able to select each individual wedge and give it its own according rotation to accomplish the spin wheel shape. So yeah, I'm really proud of everything that we did. And Mona, sadly, she couldn't be here today, but she incorporated the entire graph bar for us with the calorie counter. The idea behind the graph bar is that you check off those habits and it tells you exactly how many calories you burned. We want to eventually incorporate not only the functionality behind the calories, we also want to incorporate a questionnaire so that way the calorie counts could be accurate by heights, weights, age, and all of that good stuff. And also so the spin wheel doesn't give you a crazy workout for elderly people. But yeah, I'm super proud of the project and everyone really pulled through, and especially learning Git was a learning curve in itself. So I'm super proud of us. Thank you so much, Juan.
Oh, thank you. So yeah, this is the app. You add your run and it tracks it for you. Appreciate the opportunity to present for you guys and hope you guys like it.
All right, that was great. I shared in the YouTube chat, but also just in case you're not watching this because you're here, I just am dying over the idea that like my undone habits are like a hoarder's house because it's real though. Like all those things, they really do start to stack up, and then eventually you're like, I can't even open it. I can't open it.
Yeah.
So I think that's great. I think it was really great. I mean, seeing all of the work you guys put in, I know that it was a lot. There is a user named CA on the YouTube chat that was really impressed you guys were able to build that back end in such a short time. So one, do you have like tips, tricks, magical wand? Like, how did you make that happen? Late nights, lots of caffeine? What's the secret?
Yeah, the latter of the two.
Okay.
I
So you're
personally heard the
human.
coffee chugging.
Yeah. Michaela heard the coffee gulps. It was a lot of looking and researching. I started TripleTen in September, and like I'm eating the stuff up, left and right. I gave some tips on the channel, like, hey, if you guys want to learn this stuff quicker, do this and that, or try this and that.
Yeah.
But I just going through the sprints, and it's really getting down and dirty, trying different things, and a lot of coffee, a
I
lot
do
of
feel that.
yeah. Sometimes I gotta step away because then my head is spinning with all these objects, and I'm like, what the hell's going on?
Have you started waking up in the middle of the night with the solutions to whatever you're trying to do? Like the
Actually,
lines of
yeah.
code and seeing them. It's my favorite part.
Yeah. I'm like, I wake up and I go to bed at 1 and I'm like at 5 in the morning, I'm like, I got it.
That's it. That's the bug right there. All right. So,
Um,
Michaela, you were pretty early on, but it sounds like you had the appetite to really like take on a lot of the challenges that you wanted to see happen, right? Like you wanted to see it happen, so you kind of took that on. Um, how did you feel about your first taste of React?
Well, it was definitely, I think there's, okay, so there's a lot of levels to this, right? And when it came to even the initial idea behind the MVP, I think that like I presented some templates and then we all just kind of agreed on this one. I think we definitely bit off a lot, mind you, but we did the best that we could. And there was even
Sure.
one morning Juan and I were just up like for like 2 hours trying to figure out how to get like Node.js to work on my Windows computer because he's a Mac user. So, and I'm not even nowhere near Node.js at all or React. So I had to take it upon myself and just research things. And I actually put the readme.md like instructions and documented every step of the way that we took to actually make it work on my system as well.
Oh, I
So
can't wait to look at that.
yeah, hopefully I wrote it great.
The fact that you wrote
um,
it at all, it feels like bonus points.
yeah, I even learned how to add images without having to add them like on my GitHub README without having to add them to the actual project itself.
Oh,
Which that was really good, and how to actually format the README correctly with like headings and all of that, like headers. And it was a great learning experience. Even doing the branches, I was doing that all wrong to begin with, and Juan kind of had to guide me there. But we got to baseline and we figured it out. So I'm very proud of us.
yeah, branches. It sounds like everybody really struggled with branches this time around. I still struggle with branches, so it's definitely not a shame thing at all. Branches are ridiculous.
yeah, I just want to say too, like Michaela did an amazing job. Like I mean, for being where she's at in her sprints and learning, I mean, she really took the bull by the horns, I think. And really fast learner, really fast, comprehending the stuff and, you know, uh, and picking up the slack from other, from others and stepping forward and say, we're going to get to the bait, we're going to get to the end. Because at the end of the day, I told her, I was like, listen, you might be on a team of developers and one guy might be sick, another guy might be who knows what. And guess what? You're here, you're now, either you step it in and get it done, or you're going to have a write-up. They're going to call you into the office and say, hey, what's going on? So
Definitely not that severe in terms of getting written up where I
yeah,
work.
but
But there are going to be 5 people out from my teams next week at one day.
yeah,
So it is a real thing that's why it's a team, right? Everyone's got to
yeah,
pull more and less.
yeah. So good job, guys.
Okay, so and that is a really great segue just in thinking about tips. So Michaela, I'm going to put you on the hot seat because
Oh
Juan
gosh.
Juan is like ready to just like make it rain tips every time I talk to him, which is very appreciated. But Michaela, what tips do you have for future Code Jam participants as they watch this back? Because I probably have told them to.
I think that communication is key at the end of the day, because you could push as much code as you want to and put all the footwork in, but if you're not communicating on who's going to do what, then you're going to run into like merge issues. You're not even going to know how to connect, for our example, connect the back end with the front end. If Juan didn't take the time to sit down and be like, this is what you're supposed to do. And I was like, okay, well, it's not working. I would have never really probably gotten it. So I think
Pairing,
communication is
yeah.
definitely key when working on anything. Like obviously you want to focus on the code. Obviously you want to make the best project, but the only way that's actually going to come to fruition is if everyone is on the same page. And even if that means doing daily meetings or talking to people daily, you got to keep them updated. So I think that, and also really what's helped me through the entire TripleTen program, besides just the code jam, is doing something called home labs, which is like having my own server. So I've been like configuring like Plex and stuff to work on my home network. And so just being able to have
Cool.
that base knowledge of Bash and understanding like how my own system works really gave me the leg up of understanding how to connect the back end with the front end and ports and all of that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Bash is, it's a whole different breed. We could have a whole code jam just on those things, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was a wonderful presentation. Thank you guys very much. That was Team Codify with Juan Alcantara, Mona Abdel Rahim, Michaela Danielle, and Halil Ibar. All right. So that is all of us. That is all from us here at TripleTen and our May Code Jam. And thank you to all of you for presenting. Thank you so much to all of you watching at home. Thank you again if you are watching us back on replay. If you are so inclined, I would like to encourage you to vote for your favorite team down below in the comment/chat section. If you're a student of ours, you can go ahead and vote in our team Discord. And the results and winners are going to be announced May 28th in the Discord channel and also in our socials. I do want to take a moment to say a special thank you to everyone who has helped get all of the back end of things, right? All the behind the scenes working so that we could bring this to you tonight. And that is Devin, Alina, Natasha, Olivia, Anastasia, Dennis, and of course, my cat Sharkbait. Thank you again to all of you for presenting your work today. My mic was not on mute earlier, but I really hope that you all know how excited I am to watch all of the projects and see all the things that you guys are able to do. It is like the best part of this whole job. So thank you for having the courage to present in front of everybody. I know that is a new skill, but one that you all did great at. My name is Tiffany Hall. If you need to find me, you can find me at Tiffany Codes on Instagram. And you could probably find my cat Sharkbait trying to figure out ways to get mom to send him more treats. Happy birthday to my mom, Tina. Love you lots. Thank you all so much. Have a great day. Bye.